Hi, here's our highlights video for the month of November for the East Coast. I hope you enjoy this, and if we don't see you again, I'll see you on the water in 2011.
There they are. This is the first one. He's down here feeding on shad. You can see his eyes are looking down. I caught him on the sand point. Lucky Craft RC 1.5 painted by Piz. Not a giant bass, but a decent bass. Fat, chunky, about a pound and a half. Now they weren't on the drop-offs, so I worked that with worms, jigs, crankbaits, everything. Even slow rolled this spinnerbait. So I went back into this creek and hit the heavy grass areas again where they were before. This Skeet Reese Redemption. What I did was I modified it by putting on a bigger blade, and I changed the skirt up, and then I super glued on a split tail trailer. And it's not big, but he was hit it pretty aggressively right down. Well, I finally figured it out too late. I only have a half an hour left before I have to go home. Switched up to the jig, changed skirts, changed trailers, went to the Sweet Beaver trailer, this color, put on the crawfish scent, flipped it right into the dock where I caught the 7-pounder earlier in the year. Hooked a nice 5.5 pounder. There's another one. Now it's already 3:30. Caught him on this new spinnerbait. This is a Picasso, but has painted blades on one side. I'm gonna get ready and go back in now. I've tried everything. This is one of the crankbaits I use. This is a Lucky Craft square bill. Runs about 2-3 feet. Worked out in the rocks. Okay, there's the first one. Been here about 15-20 minutes now. This isn't giant, but he came right out of the same spot where I've been catching the 7 and 6.5 and the 5s all year long on the jigs. Okay, there he goes. The water's cold. This is what he came out of. You can see he came out of the seawall here by the floating platform that holds the jet. Okay, there you go. This has been what's been wrong. I've been throwing the crankbaits, been throwing the soft plastics, been throwing the jig, but that's not what they wanted. See all the spots on him? He's down in the grass, down in about 2 feet of water. Right, there you go. 37 degrees. Got a 30-mile-an-hour wind going, and they're hitting in 2 feet of water right off of these types of areas right here in the shade. I'm getting ready to go. I spent the whole day throwing rattle traps off the main points, and then I moved in and threw them real shallow. Started off throwing this custom painted rattle trap by Piz Custom Baits. Just stop in the tackle store and you can check out all the Piz baits. Hi, Steve Brand here for Trophy Bass Fishing Videos and Tips. I'm here at Griffith's Lake. This is in Milford, Delaware. Okay, there you go. Had a couple pickerel, and now I just got the first bass. He's out here on these grass flats, right between the 2 points. There you go. Now here's the next one. He was down real deep off this ledge, right by the road here. See where I am? I'm right here off the shore, right here at Griffiths. 40 degrees. There he goes. All right, let's get another one. Hi, Steve Brand here, Trophy Bass Fishing Videos and Tips. It's 33 degrees, and I'm getting ready to go out. We're going to work some drop shots this morning, and then maybe when it warms up, try the rattle traps, some real tight wobbling Lucky Craft crankbaits. We'll see what happens. There you go. There's the first one on the Picasso spinnerbait again. There you go. Came right out of the docks, shallow, up on the rocks. Picasso, 1/2 ounce. There he goes. There's the tournament guys right there. We're experimenting with some different crankbaits today. These are Piz Custom Baits, all painted by Paul of Piz Custom. Now what you can do with these crankbaits is if you have your own crankbaits, they get beat up, or you just don't particularly like the color, or you're working a particular body of water and they're hitting on certain types of bait fish, you send them to Paul, tell him what type of bait fish it is, he'll paint it exactly like them. Or you can just pick out a custom color and make it, and tell him what you want. He paints it. That's 4 coats of clear coat on there. It's an automotive grade clear coat. He just uses the very best types of paints. Just go to the site, click on the tackle store. You'll see Piz Custom Baits there. and drop Paul a line. The website for Piz is currently under construction, but you can reach him right here at DelawareTrophyBass.com. You can talk to Paul in person in the forums, and you can buy baits already. Lucky Craft that he has, Rapala, Mans already painted. He also has them on eBay where you can make a bid on them, but there are set prices for them also. These are really low prices compared to other custom bait companies, and the shipping is low. It's $2, so you don't have to pay a tremendous amount of shipping. So we're going to switch up some baits, and we're going to start throwing some different crankbaits until we see what they're hitting. They've been hitting a shad type of color recently in here. They're hitting this bluegill color just a few minutes ago you saw on that man's wake bait. So we're going to switch up to some of these other baits and see if we can get some more action going on here. Right at the beaver lodge. Nice bass.
Took a little
yeah. See that? That's on that Piz bait. Another Piz bait painted. Nice bass. They're all schooled up here in the shallows. The wagons up here in the upper end near these like weeds and bushes and stuff. Decent bass. All right, let's get some more. There we go. First thing. Decent bass. Almost 4 pounds. First thing in the morning here. Water temperature is 39 degrees, air temperature is 41. Got him right in here at the docks on that minnow. Got him on that Huddleston grass minnow. Decent bass. Yes. Really decent. Not a giant bass, but a good bass. 41 degrees. There we go. Persistence paid off. What I did was switched up skirts. I took a bluegill skirt and mixed it up with this dark green and black strands and put it on the Picasso spinnerbait on the 3/8 ounce and slow rolled it right through these pads here off the main. This time of year in the winter you just never know. I tried up some different tactics. I put a Huddleston actually on a bobber and threw a small Huddleston weedless minnow right up into the shallows and caught that first one, and then I didn't catch any more, so I took it off the bobber and just started throwing some different crankbaits in the Huddlestons, and they just weren't having anything to do with it. Water temperature is 40 degrees, air temperature is 47 now, and then I just picked this one up. That's nice bass out of the same spot. Wacky Rig Senko. See that? That Wacky Rig does it. That's number 2 Gamakatsu Wacky Rig hook, a weedless Wacky Rig hook. And it's a 5-inch Yamamoto Senko. You see it's the way it falls. That's on 12-pound test fluorocarbon line, Seagar. Right out here about 5 feet deep on the edge of the pad. That's the ticket here. A lot of these clear ponds and pressured waters, they respond real well to a Wacky Rig. And it's not just because it's a Wacky Rig. You could throw out Senko on another type of Wacky Rig hook and you're not going to get as many. You'll get some, but not as many. It's the size of the hook that causes the rate of fall to be different, and that's what they really like. And it just falls perfectly horizontal, and just the tiniest twitch of your rod makes both ends just jiggle around. And what you can do is sometimes if they're not responding to that, you can put a small nail weight in the end. It's called a deck rig. You put a small nail weight in the one end of the Senko, and it falls differently, and sometimes that'll trigger another strike or two. Yeah. Well, now we found the pattern. Now we have to find the bigger ones. We're going to have to either change up sizes or colors or move off the pads a little bit out into the channel. It catches them right in the roof of the mouth. I was telling you that before. Just set the hook almost like a circle hook, really. They take it and you just set the hook, sweep it up, and they've got it. They're just tournament fish. Well, not 2 seconds later after I said that, and there you go. But didn't get a bigger bite, just got another one, another tournament fish. Got him on that dirty jigs with a sweet beaver trailer. Steve Von Brand here for Trophy Bass Fishing Videos and Tips. We're going to give it a shot. 45-mile-an-hour winds, temperature is 66 degrees, but I'm telling you, this is crazy weather, but we're going to see what happens. Almost all the pads have died. The leaves are blown off the trees. We're going to go out. We're going to throw some spinner baits and slow roll them around, and chatter baits, rattle traps if they don't hit it. We're going to go ahead right back up into the pads like you saw me doing yesterday at another one of the lakes here, Chipman's. And we're going to throw the Wacky Rig Senkos and some other soft plastics and a tiny little 1/8 ounce jig, little finesse jig. So we'll see what happens, and I'll see you guys down the water. There's the ticket up here at Red Mill. This is a good 5 pounds. Hit the Wacky Rig Senko number 2 Gamakatsu hook, fluorocarbon line, 8-pound test into the pads, into the last remaining pads that are green, back in a cove, about 3 feet deep. Nice 5-pound bass, fat, full of food, thick, big shoulder. Beautiful bass. Wacky Rig Senko, Red Mill, end of November. Alright, so see if we can get right out of these pads on the edge here, right at the little cut in there. This is back in that cove right off the main lake, about 200 yards in. The key to making them hit was to actually give the bait no action at all. You just throw it out, let it sink, watch the line, and then lift it, let it fall back down again. There we go. Back in the pads. Oh yes, Wacky Rig right before dark. Another nice one. See how that catches him right up on the corner of his mouth. This isn't 5 pounds, but a nice 2 3/4, 3-pound bass. Nice. Up in the pads and all the way up in the back of the creek. They were striking up on the surface. I'm going to throw a little crankbait up on the surface here in a minute too and see if they'll hit. Okay. There we go. Back down in.
Hi, Steve Von Brand here for Trophy Bass Fishing Videos and Tips. This is the end of November. It's right after Thanksgiving now, and this is our November Bass Fishing Report. It's been a strange month. There's been some strange weather, off and on 30, 40 degrees, and then 65 and 70 degrees. We've had tough days where you could barely catch 2 bass, and they just wouldn't hit a thing no matter what you did, to days where you caught 15 or 20 and they were 5 and 6 pounds. So it was just a really mixed up, crazy month. And right now the weather is really starting to change. You can tell what it's going to be like in December. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We appreciate everything that everybody's done for the site this year, and for you all making purchases here through the tackle store. We want to say thanks to everybody for participating in the site, and we've got a lot of great things coming for you in store for 2011. All the new videos will be done in our high-definition cameras from a couple different angles. We'll be on the Potomac and the Upper Bay. We'll have a lot of detailed reports on tackle and new baits and all types of techniques. So lots of things are in store for 2011, and we look forward to seeing you all there. And we look forward to fishing with a lot of our new members that have joined this year, and getting you out on some of the lakes and teaching you some new techniques with swim baits and jigs and a couple different other tactics that you've mentioned. So we look forward to all of that. So until next year, we'll probably only be able to get out 1 or 2 more times. So if we don't see you again, I'll see you down on the water in 2011.